With recent shifts in interest rates and inventory, many potential home buyers are kind of wondering, should I buy now or wait until next year? Will rates come down more? Will more inventory come available on the market? Will prices continue to come down? Adding to the complexity of this decision is the fact that this is an election year, and it could have a significant impact on the economy and the market. In this video, we'll explore how the election might affect real estate and how to make the best choice for your situation. Hi, I'm Rhonda with Comey and Shepherd Realtors. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to start with interest rates. After rising since fall of 2022, interest rates have finally started to come down. This is great news for buyers, as lower rates mean lower payments and greater purchasing power. I do understand that waiting to see if they will drop could be very tempting, but there's really no guarantee that it's going to happen. So locking in a reasonable rate today can provide you with long-term stability, especially if your financial situation allows you to take advantage of this market shift. And should rates decline further, you can always refinance. Housing inventory is measured in months. If you look at how many homes are on the market and how long it would take to sell through those homes with no additional things coming on the market, how long would it take? An even market is when neither buyer nor seller has an advantage, and that is usually between 5 to 6 months. That is considered actually a healthy market. There's plenty of inventory to choose from, but doesn't mean that sellers have to slash their prices. Now, nationally, inventory is up, sitting at 4.2 months of inventory. Cincinnati, in our 4 big counties, is sitting at 1.88 months of inventory. With more homes hitting the market, it just means that buyers have more choices and may face less competition, which could lead to better opportunities for negotiation. It doesn't mean there are no multiple offers, but homes are sitting longer. We are seeing fewer multiple offers and more price reductions. But what if you wait? Well, it's important to weigh the risk. We are just starting to see that little bit of an increase in inventory, and it could continue. However, if there's additional rate cuts, there could be a rise in demand, which would also affect your negotiation power. Home values. Now, Zillow was originally forecasting negative appreciation this year in this area. However, they have updated their forecast to, I would say on average, about a 0.8% increase. But while inventory is on the rise, home prices in many areas are seeing a slightly steeper seasonal decline than normal. However, any significant price drop will really depend on the seller's motivation. I do not see people giving homes away, but some sellers could be more pliable. New construction market homes, which are those homes that are built on spec, are offering really great deals right now and amazing buy down rate and additional closing cost help for buyers who buy now. What if you wait? Because our inventory is still tight, you never know when someone will come along and snatch up that house or building lot that you were really interested in. Waiting too long in hopes of larger discounts could mean missing out on something you really like. If you find a home that is within your budget and meets your needs, as always, I highly recommend that you act sooner than later. Economy. At the time of this recording, there's a huge national disaster in Georgia and in the Carolinas. There's a dock workers strike that just started, and multiple wars are going on throughout the world. Inflation has cooled somewhat, but ongoing economic uncertainty means buyers should be prepared for shifts. The election could bring about policies that address inflation or economic recovery, which might impact the cost of borrowing and the overall real estate market. with all this uncertainty, should you wait? If you're concerned about the economic uncertainty, waiting might help you gain a clearer sense of how the economy and the housing market will react to the election. If you're in a stable financial position, purchasing now could allow you to secure a property at a time when many home buyers are not even paying attention. The election. Presidential election years often bring a degree of uncertainty to the economy. The housing market is no exception. The policies proposed by candidates, especially regarding taxes, interest rates, and housing affordability, could have a direct impact on real estate. It is typical to see a drop in sales in the housing market for October and November during an election year. It's also important to note that rates have decreased in 8 out of the last 11 elections. In other countries, they don't allow this. They actually consider it election interference, but I digress. Home sales have increased after 9 of the last 11 elections, and more importantly, home prices have increased after 7 of the last 8 elections. Now, it makes sense that people are waiting to see the outcome. Would you feel more comfortable with moving forward on a big purchase if your candidate wins? But the president has limited power, so how can the election really affect the housing market? Well, the Federal Reserve's policies are not supposed to be influenced by political leadership. However, I can't say the Fed always operates independently. So depending on the results of the election, there could be shifts in the Fed's approach to interest rates, which could make borrowing cheaper or more expensive in the months to follow the election. But what about tax policies? Well, like no taxes on overtime, Social Security, and tips. Well, I encourage everyone to pay attention to what the candidates' platforms are and get out there and vote. But let's talk about this $25,000 for new homeowners that's been put forth by Kamala Harris from the Harris Walls website. Will provide first-time homebuyers with up to $25,000 to help with their down payments, with more generous support for first-generation homeowners. I am still not sure. Is this a grant? Is this a tax credit? I've heard both. Now, if it's a grant, okay, there are grants out there. There are grants out there that will give you more than $25,000 down. So if this is something you're really looking for, let's figure out if this is something we can get for you. There are generally lots of stipulations, additional time involved, and extra fees to get free money. Now, I cannot imagine less red tape and to get these government offered funds. And it would take time to set up an organization to oversee this project. There is a finite amount of funds according to the website. So do those funds have to be paid back if you don't stay in the house a certain amount of time, or if you decide to rent out the property within a certain amount of time? Lots of good questions. Now, if it's a tax credit, I've been baffled by this. A $25,000 tax credit would be great, but then you would have to buy the home first to get the credit. I don't really see how that works for most people, but okay, let's see what happens. But should you wait? Let's see if this thing goes through. Well, my answer is absolutely not. Waiting on the federal government to do something that moves at a snail's pace is completely pointless. Let's remember, Congress would have to write the bill, then it would have to pass both houses, and then they would have to figure out how to implement this. This is not going to be like Harris gets into office and then the next day suddenly there's $25,000 available to all new home buyers. Just remember that the government doesn't really do things that great either. But I would never recommend getting married, having a child, buying a house, just so you could save money on taxes or get free money from the government. If it wasn't something that you were planning to do anyway, just wait until the time is right. Your personal situation. Now, regardless of what's happening in the market or politically, your personal financial situation and long-term goals should be the main drivers of your decision. Do you have stable employment? Are you planning to stay in the area for a long time, maybe 5 to 7 years? Is home ownership a key part of your financial strategy? These questions are essential to consider alongside broader market conditions. But what if you wait? Timing the market is really challenging. If you're financially ready, have a strong credit score, and have found a home that meets your needs and you can afford it, waiting for the perfect market conditions may not be necessary. My folks who didn't want to act in 2020 because they believed that the fast increase in home appreciation was unsustainable still have not bought homes. Meanwhile, they've been priced out of the homes they wanted, and had they just acted, they would have plenty of equity and an amazing interest rate. But this is not to pressure you. If you feel uncertain about your future, waiting for more clarity is probably the right move. I want you to have peace about your decision once you find the home that you love. I can help you navigate the local market and help you make an informed decision that aligns with your goals. Regardless of what you decide, having a strategy in place will help you feel confident as you move forward. Now, you can find my contact details in the description below, or you can start a conversation in the comments. Now, make sure that you also check out this video to learn more about living in Ohio.